At 87 years old, she had nothing left but a cracked voice and a trembling hand holding her 4-year-old granddaughter's fingers. When they walked onto the America's Got Talent stage, the judges smiled politely, not knowing that in the next few minutes, this homeless grandma and her tiny granddaughter would deliver a duet so powerful it would silence the room, break hearts across America, and change their lives forever. If you believe in second chances, family, and miracles, make sure you subscribe right now, because this story will stay with you long after the music stops. No one in the massive theater noticed them at first. Among the bright lights, the cheering crowd, and the polished performers waiting backstage, the old woman and the little girl looked almost invisible. The grandmother's back was slightly bent, her gray hair thin and neatly tied despite years of hardship. Her coat was worn, the kind of coat that had seen many winters, some of them spent sleeping in shelters, others under bridges, and some on park benches. The 4-year-old girl beside her clutched a small stuffed rabbit, its fur faded from too many nights being hugged for comfort. This was Evelyn Carter and her granddaughter Lily. Evelyn was 87 years old. For the past 7 years, she had been homeless. Her life had not always been this way. Evelyn once lived in a small house in Ohio, where the walls echoed with laughter, Sunday hymns, and the smell of fresh bread. She had raised 3 children on her own after her husband died young in a factory accident. Music was the one thing that kept her going back then. She sang in church every Sunday, her voice warm and strong, and people often told her she should have done something bigger with it. But Evelyn had responsibilities. Dreams were a luxury she never felt she could afford. Years passed, children grew up, and life slowly unraveled in ways she never expected. Medical bills drained her savings. Her eldest son moved away and lost touch. Her daughter passed away after a long illness, leaving behind a baby girl named Lily. Evelyn took Lily in without hesitation, even when her own health was failing. But tragedy struck again when a house fire destroyed the little home they lived in. With no insurance and no close family to turn to, Evelyn and Lily slipped quietly into homelessness. For years, they moved from place to place. Some nights were spent in shelters, other nights in their old car until it finally broke down for good. Evelyn sang to Lily every night, soft lullabies to drown out the sounds of the street. Music became their shield against fear, hunger, and loneliness. Lily learned to sing before she could properly speak. Her tiny voice would follow Evelyn's, high and innocent, turning cold nights into moments of warmth. One afternoon, while standing in line at a soup kitchen in Los Angeles, Lily began singing softly. A volunteer stopped and listened. Then another person joined. Soon, a small crowd had gathered. Someone recorded the moment on their phone and later uploaded it online. The video didn't go viral, but it reached one person who mattered. A local musician who volunteered with a community outreach program recognized something special. He told Evelyn about America's Got Talent. At first, she laughed. She thought it was a joke. An 87-year-old homeless woman and a 4-year-old child on the biggest stage in America. It sounded impossible, but Lily tugged at her hand and said, "Grandma, let's sing Where the Lights Are." The audition process was long and confusing. Forms, interviews, background checks. Evelyn almost gave up many times. She felt embarrassed explaining her situation. But every time doubt crept in, Lily would hum their favorite song and smile up at her. That smile kept Evelyn going. When the day of the audition arrived, they were given simple clothes and a warm meal backstage. It felt like a dream. Evelyn had not eaten a full meal in years. Lily's eyes sparkled at everything she saw, from the cameras to the glittering stage curtains. Then their names were called. Evelyn Carter and Lily Carter. The audience applauded politely as they walked out. Some people smiled kindly. Others looked confused. The judges leaned forward, curious but skeptical. One judge asked about their story, and Evelyn spoke honestly. She didn't beg for sympathy. She simply told the truth. About losing her home. About raising Lily on the streets. About singing being the only thing that kept them together. There was a hush in the room. "What will you be singing today?" a judge asked. Evelyn swallowed and answered softly. "A song I used to sing to her mother. And now I sing it to Lily every night." The music began. At first, Evelyn sang alone. Her voice was fragile, cracked with age, but filled with something rare. Every word carried decades of love, loss, and survival. The audience leaned in, listening closely. Then Lily joined in. Her small voice was clear and pure, floating above her grandmother's like a promise. It was not perfect. It was real. The contrast between the aged voice and the child's voice was overwhelming. Past and future singing together in perfect harmony. Halfway through the song, something unexpected happened. Evelyn's voice faltered. She missed a note. Her eyes filled with tears. For a brief moment, it seemed like the performance might fall apart. The judges exchanged worried glances. Then Lily did something no one expected. She squeezed her grandmother's hand and kept singing, louder now, stronger. She looked up at Evelyn and smiled. Evelyn took a breath and joined her again. The duet continued, more powerful than before. The audience began to cry openly. People held hands. Some stood up. By the final note, the entire theater was silent. Then the room exploded with applause. People jumped to their feet. The judges stood. One judge wiped away tears before speaking. Another said they had never seen anything like it in all their years on the show. The third judge simply shook his head in disbelief. "You didn't just sing a song," one judge said. "You told a life story." The fourth judge leaned forward and asked Lily how old she was. When Lily answered, the judge laughed softly through tears and said, "You have a brave heart." Then came the twist no one expected. A producer stepped onto the stage and whispered something to the judges. The judges looked at each other. One of them reached for the golden buzzer. Before pressing it, the judge spoke. "We know this competition is about talent, but it's also about heart. And what you brought here today is something America needs to see." The golden buzzer was pressed. Golden confetti rained down. Lily laughed and tried to catch it. Evelyn stood frozen, unable to move. For the first time in years, she felt seen. Backstage, they were embraced by crew members, staff, and even other contestants. But the surprises didn't end there. During the live shows weeks later, viewers learned more about Evelyn's past. A former choir member from her old church recognized her on TV and reached out. So did a distant relative who had lost contact decades ago. In the semi-finals, Evelyn almost didn't make it to the stage. Her health took a sudden turn, and she was hospitalized briefly. Doctors advised rest. She considered withdrawing from the competition. She didn't want Lily to be disappointed. But Lily stood by her hospital bed and sang the song again. Evelyn knew then she had to continue. Their semi-final performance was different. This time, Evelyn sat on a chair, Lily standing beside her. The song they chose spoke of home, of searching, of never giving up. The audience voted them through. By the finals, their story had spread across the country. News outlets covered them. Donations poured into organizations supporting homeless families. Evelyn and Lily were offered a small apartment by a local charity. For the first time in years, they slept in real beds. On the night of the final performance, Evelyn walked onto the stage with a steady step. She looked younger somehow, lighter. Lily wore a simple dress and no longer clutched her stuffed rabbit. She didn't need it anymore. They sang their final song together, and while they didn't win first place, it didn't matter. Their lives had already changed. The judges promised continued support. A music producer offered to help them record their duet, with all proceeds going toward securing their future. After the show, Evelyn said something that stayed with millions of viewers. "I thought my life was over," she said. "But God gave me 4 more years in the form of this little girl, and together, we found our voice." Today, Evelyn and Lily live in a small home filled with music. Lily goes to preschool. Evelyn sings every night, not to drown out the noise of the streets, but to celebrate peace. Their duet didn't just shock AGT. It reminded America that hope doesn't expire with age, and that sometimes, the smallest voices carry the strongest light.